Hello everyone, Darren Rawlings from Emergency War, and you join me here in the Shriver House in Gettysburg, and joining me is co-producer of Gettysburg 1863, Chris Jones. Nice to meet you, my friend, and what a great place to have a chat. A very historic building, isn't it? So could you just give everyone a little bit of an idea of the Shriver House just before we get into the movie, Gettysburg 1863?
So we're actually in the Shriver House shop, which was built in the 1880s. The Shriver House itself, which is directly next door and can be toured any day of the week, is from 1860. It was the home of George and Hetty Shriver. George had been a pretty well-to-do kind of businessman. His family had been in the whiskey business since before the Declaration of Independence. And he used the money from the sale of the family farm to build this house, which was going to be his business Shriver Saloon with the bowling alley in the backyard. So pretty incredible story. Of course, the war starts, George enlists, and I'm not going to spoil the rest of it with what happens to George.
So when I was here in 2007, I did have a tour of the house.
Great.
So that for me was one of the highlights of my trip. Anyway, let's talk about Gettysburg 1863. So it's due out in November, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Just tell us a little bit about what went into to making this movie happen. Now, it focuses more on civilians, doesn't it? Rather than the actual conflict. Well, the conflict's there, but obviously, again, civilians are important because people forget about the civilians.
Of course,
absolutely.
Don't they? Absolutely.
So give us a little bit of an idea of what the movie is about.
So it is more of the civilian experience for the Battle of Gettysburg. It focuses more on the family left behind, not so much the soldier at war. Now, obviously, he does take a part in that, but we are more about the family, which has three daughters. The oldest daughter is in love with a gentleman who enlists. And so whenever Thomas goes off to war, of course, she's waiting for letters. It just so happens that her father is a lieutenant in the unit that Thomas is in. So she gets information back from him. I don't want to give away too much, but he goes through a few different circumstances. He gets captured. He's escaping. He's trying to, get back home. It's this whole saga. And it's very, very interesting. And then what's going on here? Of course, while Thomas is gone, the Battle of Gettysburg comes through town. And what they had to deal with, the soldiers in the street, the wounded aftermath, it's a pretty significant story. And not one that gets told, certainly not on the big screen.
No, certainly not. And also, you had the street closed off, didn't you, during part of the film?
Yeah,
because social media blew up with a certain incident, which we'll talk about in a minute. But just tell us about what went into being able to close off the main street in Gettysburg.
Oh my gosh, we had such a cooperation from the borough of Gettysburg and PennDOT. It could not have happened without the two of them. Now, they were very strict with, we will close it now and we will open it at this time, and that's what you get. But it's not just closing the road, it's bringing in all the dirt. It's spreading the dirt. It's putting up a giant green screen that covers the whole other side of the street. I mean, it was a massive undertaking. And Bo Brinkman, the director, and Chris Webb, the producer, they just did yeoman's work with this. I mean, it was so much their idea, Chris's story that Bo brought to life, and then, Bo wrote out, and then we brought to life on the screen. But closing the street, people don't really think about this short of a distance, how much it can affect just such an amount of traffic and the people that live on the street. And we had such a good cooperation from everyone involved, or we couldn't have done it a second time, because we did it a weekend in October and then a few days in January as well. The dirt came back in, we spread it all back out. We had horses, wagons, I fired a cannon on Baltimore Street. Okay.
That's pretty cool,
I'm like the first person to do that in 163 years.
Yes.
So,
absolutely.
There was so much that they let us do out here. Special effects, charges going off in the air, blowing up the street, the soldiers going through, shooting their muskets. I mean, it was just really, really phenomenal.
And again, talking about the soldiers, so were they reenactors or were they extras?
So all of the soldiers were reenactors. For the most part, all of our extras were mostly all reenactors. So even civilian reenactors. We had a few people who came in and they ended up either renting or buying their own clothing so they could take part. But I would say 98% of who you'll see on screen were all reenactors. People who portray civilians, or they were soldiers who portrayed civilians for the film. We had the Liberty Rifles portraying the Union and Confederate units that were battling on the street. And those guys, they do such a great job on screen. Their impressions are fantastic. So it was an honor to have them with us as well.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing this movie. So when is it going to be coming out into the cinema, the theatre?
So we have 3 premieres. We have the inaugural on November 9th, which we're doing specially just for all the extras, because we had like 300 extras through the course of the film. We got to do something to say thank you. And then we have our red carpet premiere November 11th at the Majestic Theater, and we'll have a special cocktail hour as well as some meet and greet with some of the actors. And then November 12th, we're actually buying out the entire Gateway Theater just outside of town. I forget how many screens it is, and every one of them is going to be showing Gettysburg 1863. We'll have actors there doing autographs. So that's the big public premiere. That would be the time to get your tickets if you want to see it. Distribution, we're still working on. When it's going to go to streaming, when it's going to go to theaters more in that Civil War belt of the country, we're not sure yet, but hoping sooner rather than later.
Well, I hope so, and I hope it makes it to the UK, because I would love to watch that.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so it's been fantastic talking about it. But before we finish up, guys, let's ask about the air conditioning unit, because it blew up social media, which I suppose in a way is good.
Man, it was the best marketing we had.
People were like, oh my God, it's in the... But, what can you do about it?
So, okay, first off, and this has been told I don't know how many times, the air conditioner will not appear in the film. The direction a photographer takes a picture and the direction the film camera is facing were different. I know, blow your mind, right? So that air conditioner was in a B&B house that was right next to the Shriver House that was also not here at the time of the battle. So that house will not appear at all. It will be green screened out. But the air conditioner made such a performance on social media. It actually got signed by Bo Brinkman and Chris Webb. And so it is now, a part of this movie archive.
And where is that? I want to go and get a selfie with
it's back in the window, actually. They put it back this year. Yeah.
Well, Chris, it's absolute pleasure talking to you about Gettysburg 1863. Like I said, Chris said in November this will be out, and hopefully they'll figure out some distribution so people can see it around the country and around the world, hopefully.
Great.
But it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren.
No worries. I'm Darren Rawlings for Emergency of War. We'll see you online and on the battlefield.